Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first session of reading D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lovers. I will be discussing the rich, evocative novel with all of you, whether you're encountering Lawrence for the first time or revisiting this classic. I hope this course sparks lively discussions and fresh insights. To truly appreciate Sons and Lovers, we need to start with its author. David Herbert Lawrence, better known as D.H. Lawrence, was born on September 11, 1885, in Eastwood, Nottinghamshire, England. Lawrence was the fourth child in a working-class family. His father, Arthur Lawrence, was a coal miner, while his mother, Lydia Beardsall, came from a more educated middle-class background. Lawrence's early life was marked by the industrial grit of the Midlands, where mining dominated the economy and the daily existence. He showed early promise as a writer and scholar, attending Nottingham University College and working as a teacher before turning to literature full-time. His books often explore the themes of class, sexuality, industrialization, and human relationships, drawing from his own mind and experiences. Lawrence's health was fragile. He suffered from tuberculosis, and he traveled extensively, living in places like Italy, Australia, and New Mexico. He passed away on March 2nd, 1930, at age 40, leaving behind a legacy of novels, poems, short stories, etc. Key works include The Rainbow in 1915, Women in Love in 1920, and the controversial Lady Chatterley's Lover in 1928, which faced censorship for its explicit content. Lawrence was a modernist innovator, pushing boundaries in form and content, but he also faced criticism for his views on gender and society in Sons and Lovers, published in 1913. We see him at a pivotal point, blending realism with psychological depth. One of the most fascinating aspects of this novel is the deeply autobiographical nature. Lawrence himself describes it as drawing from his upbringing and his mother's sacrifices. The protagonist, Paul Morel, is essentially a stand-in for Lawrence, a sensitive, artistic young man navigating family ties and personal aspirations in a mining town. Gertrude Morel reflects Lawrence's mother, Lydia, a refined woman who married below her class and devoted herself to her children's success to escape the drudgery of the working class life. Walter Morel, the rough miner husband, is based on Lawrence's father, complete with the drinking and domestic strife. Even the specific relationships echo reality. Paul's intense bond with his mother hints at Oedipal themes that Lawrence explored, influenced by Freudian ideas circulating at the time. The novel underwent revisions. An early version was called Paul Morel, and Lawrence's real-life friend Jessie Chambers, the basis for Miriam later in the book, provided feedback, though she was upset about her portrayal. Blake Morrison's introduction in this Penguin edition highlights this autobiography, noting how the book portrays childhood, adolescence, and the price of family bonds. Morrison emphasizes the clash of generations and Lawrence's native Nottinghamshire setting, underscoring the novel's semi-autobiographical roots as a compelling portrayal of personal and social tensions. This blending of life and fiction makes Sons and Lovers a family saga in miniature, where Lawrence uses the Morels to probe national issues like class mobility and industrialization. Let's turn to the world of the novel. Set in the early 20th century English Midlands, specifically a fictionalized version of Eastwood called Bestwood, Sons and Lovers immerses us in the harsh realities of a mining community. The opening chapters paint the Bottoms, a row of miners' cottages built by the colliery company, complete with ash pits and commercial privies. This industrial landscape isn't just backdrop. It shapes everything, from economic pressures to family dynamic. Lawrence vividly describes the colliery's dominance, the pits, the slag heaps, the constant hum of machinery. It's a place where men's lives revolve around the mines, risking health and limb for meager wages. For women, like Gertrude, it's a trap of domestic toil amid soot and poverty. This setting underscores class divide. The miners' rough vitality versus the aspirations of those like Gertrude, who yearn for something more. As Morrison notes in his introduction, it's Lawrence's native ground, reflecting the clash of generations in a rapidly changing England. The Industrial Revolution's legacy is everywhere, influencing love, ambition, and survival. Now let's look at chapters 1 through 3, which sets the stage for the Morel saga. In chapter 1, the early married life of the Morels, we meet Gertrude Coppard, a refined, educated woman from a Congregationalist family who falls for Walt Morel, a charismatic miner with a sensuous flame of life. Their meeting at a Christmas dance sparks romance, but cracks appear quickly. Gertrude discovers Walt's debts and lies about his homeownership. As she says, she despised him, but she was tied to him. Pregnant with William, then Annie, she endures Walter's drinking and violence. He even locks her out one night. Outside, Gertrude finds fleeting solace in the moonlit garden, but feels imprisoned. I wait, but what I wait for can never come. The birth of Paul and another battle intensifies the strife. Paul is born amid Gertrude's dread of another tie to Walter, but she pours her love into him. With all her force, with all her soul, she would make up to it for having brought it into the world unloved. Walter arrives drunk during labor and indifferent. A later fight sees him hurl a drawer, cutting her brow, though he shows remorse. When Walter falls ill, Gertrude nurses him, highlighting her resilience and class-bound constraints. In Chapter 3, the family shifts allegiances. Walter steals from Gertrude's purse, prompting confrontation. The children side with her. William, bright and ambitious, excels in school, and he lands a job at the co-op office. Gertrude pins her hopes on him. Now, William heads to London for better prospects, while young Paul secures a factory job in Nottingham, marking early hope for an escape. These chapters establish class as a core tension. Gertrude's southern pronunciation and purity of English thrill Walter initially, but her refinement clashes with his minor ways. The mining setting amplifies this. Economic hardship fuels fights, while community interdependence offers slim support. Lawrence's writing here is masterful. It's vivid, it's sensory and psychologically acute. He uses free, indirect discourse to delve into characters' minds, blending narration with inner thoughts. Descriptions like Walter's dusky, golden softness contrast with Gertrude's intellectual grip, highlighting vitality versus restraint. This psychological realism, probing emotions, desires, and subconscious conflicts, sets Lawrence apart, influencing modern literature. It's not just plot, it's the inner lives that drive the story. Now here's some discussion questions to ponder. 1. How does Lawrence establish the tension between Gertrude and Walter in the opening chapters? 2. What roles does class play in shaping the characters' identities and relationships? And 3. How does the setting influence the narrative? Thank you, and have a good week.